Come one, come all. If you've come to see Truv and Byte in action, you've come to the right place. We're going to give it a minute or two while all of the registrants pour in. If you want to write in the chat where you're joining us from, I'll start us off. If I can find the chat, there it is. Washington, D.C. Oh, that was the host and panelist. Let's try that again. Washington, D.C. Welcome, everybody. Phoenix, New York, right close by you, Tom.
Yeah, Long Island. Gotta love it.
Look, I got the whole country covered here. I love it.
Mark, I saw another Tyler, Texas in there.
Did you
You see
really?
that? Yeah.
I missed it. I was
Yeah.
typing my Winona, Texas, but shout
Scroll
out to
up.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Love this.
Locally
Hey,
owned.
while we're waiting, I'm going to give it another minute for everybody to join, but I'm going to give everybody an offer here. I got some Truv swag, a Truv shirt I'm going to send to you. If you can guess who the first person to guess this one. Everybody ready? In what year did Bytes get started? Throw that in the chat. First person who guesses the right year.
That's awesome, Jared.
That's how old that we look, 1840. Yeah.
Yeah, close one in there.
Getting pretty close. A couple of people are close. Oh,
There we go.
Winner, chicken dinner. That's Doris. Doris, if you want to send me a direct note in the webinar chat with your address and a t-shirt size, I got some stuff for you.
Nicely done.
Nicely done. I'm impressed. All right, let's kick this off. I think we've got a quorum. Good audience in the crowd. Thank you everybody for joining us today. We're going to keep this nice and tight. We're going to show you Truv in action in the Byte interface, and Don is going to help us do that. But to get us started, if you've come to see Byte and Truv in action, you've come to the right place. This is not going to bite. I saved that, Bobby. I saved that just for this.
I have no words.
Oh man, that was bad.
Dad joke.
Take it away, Bobby. Why don't you introduce yourself and your team and a little bit about Byte for those in the audience that aren't familiar.
All right, cool. And then you can bump it forward one more with the bullets on there is fine. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, a lot of you probably know me, at least that are Byte clients. I'm Bobby Palmer, marketing manager here at Byte. On with me today, we've got Dawn Green. She's going to be the one running the demo for you guys. She's one of our amazing implementation specialists. I can tell you from personal experience, talking to new clients that come on board, they absolutely love her. So she's awesome. Thanks for being on here, Dawn. She also worked with the Truv team on the integration, so she's kind of one of our resident experts. We also have Mark Todd. Many of you guys know Mark on here. I've seen a couple shout outs to him in the chat already. Our EVP of Sales and Client Services. So he'll be on kind of helping with any questions that you guys have at the end. I know we have a lot of current Byte clients on here today, so thank you guys for jumping on and joining. We'll get to the demo you guys all came for here in just a second. But I did want to do a quick introduction to Byte for any of those that aren't Byte clients that are on here today, and just to kind of help you get a little bit familiar with the Byte platform. So Byte is an enterprise class LOS. It's an extremely flexible platform. It can be used by lenders from 1 to 2 users all the way up to thousands of users, banks, credit unions, IMBs. I'm sure we've got kind of that whole variety on here today, represented by our clients. So very, very flexible. We are owned by CBC family of companies who celebrated 75 years in business last year. And then as we saw in the chat there a couple minutes ago, Byte's actually going to be celebrating 40 years in business next year. So we've been around the block a few times here. What you're seeing right here, and many of the Byte clients are probably like, okay, what is that? What you're seeing is Byte Web. It's our new browser-based version of Byte. It's actually been out for about a year, but with the release that's coming later this month, it will have the functionality for our clients to really truly start using it in a production environment. Today's demo, we are going to show the Truv integration out of our PC client version of Byte. But I also just wanted to showcase the new UI here and let you guys know we are working on adding the Truv integration to Byte Web. So stay tuned. We will send out an announcement as soon as that is available in Byte Web. We're here to see the Truv integration, so I won't spend too much more time on Byte Web, but just wanted to point out real quick, since I know many of you may be wondering, you will not need a re-implementation to switch from our PC client version of Byte over to Byte Web. In fact, you don't even have to pick one. You can work in both. So if you have some users that want to work out of Byte Web and others in certain roles, maybe they're a closer and they find the PC client version works better for their workflow, you can have some in one environment, some in the other. You can have individuals in one or the other, meaning if one of your originators wants to work from their office out of the PC client version, but later in the day they're at their kid's soccer game, they need to jump on their tablet or their phone, they can jump right into Byte Web. So it does kind of interchange that way. Just want to make sure that was clear. I think that's about it for any of the current Byte clients on the line. We will be sending an overview of Byte Web and in the next week or so, including what many of the new features are going to be in this next release. So hopefully we'll answer any of those questions you guys have there. We'll focus this call on the Truv integration. So that's about it about Byte. Richard, turn it back over to you and we'll get going.
Love it. And you might want to throw in the chat there, Bobby, an email that people can reach out to if they want more information sent to them specifically on that release in Byte Web.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do.
Asked for it already.
Yep.
Cool. So this is really supposed to be a demo. The majority of this webinar is supposed to be a demo. I'm going to give you a quick intro to Truv and actually what we're demoing and what Truv is. So I'm Richard Greaser. I run marketing at Truv and help out a lot with sales. Pleased to have Tom Solar join us. He is our head of client experience. He is fantastic. And he's going to do the demo of what you can do outside of Byte in our dashboard and kind of customizing our templates. So what is Truv? You know, at the end of the day, the work number is hurting the bottom line for a lot of lenders. High costs, people's margins are getting hit, and Truv is saving about 80% of the cost. This is actually an old slide. You see $55 to $100 per verification. It's actually higher than that. I was just on a call with a lender who's paying $165 for 2 borrowers per verification and $123 for a single borrower. So, you know, we're saving a ton against that, about 80% off. And, you know, re-verifications are included. So it gives you and like a picture about, you know, just how big those savings are against that bill. You know, high costs, loan rejection, decreased margin, inaccurate data, increased time to close. And then finally, our coverage, we cover about 96% of the workforce, the adult working workforce can verify with Truv versus 38% of the incumbent. So I think that's what you need to know about Truv. I think the key difference there is that we're not an instant database. You know, that incumbent is usually done behind the scenes. You press a button, and you know, it's a verification that happens. You know, it's either a hit or there's not. Whereas Truv is a consumer permission platform, meaning the borrower is explicitly logging into their payroll provider, and you are getting access to their, and we're pulling and delivering straight into your LOS in this instance into Byte their pay stubs and their W-2s. For VOIE, for verification of assets, it's going to be with bank accounts. So you can see our product suite there on the left side, income and employment. We do assets, non-QM, very popular with bank accounts. Usually it's deposits over $500 that people care about. And we'd also do home insurance for those who have a servicing portfolio. It's pretty popular for folks who want to, maybe you buy a lot of loans and you need to validate update the e-mortgage clause. That is a possibility there with our home insurance product. You're going to see the dashboard just momentarily. I think the last thing that I would throw out there is we have both Freddie and Fannie certifications for our VOIE product, and we're announcing tomorrow more certifications coming. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it off to Dawn, and let's take a look at it.
Great. Can you see my screen okay?
I do not see your screen yet. If
You do not see.
Yeah.
Let's try this again.
It worked.
There we go.
go.
There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm in a loan in Byte, and I've already gone through and entered in the minimal data points you actually need to order the VOIE through Truv. Borrower name, social security number. You want to make sure that you have an email address and a mobile phone for your borrower so that they can get those notifications. Also, you want to make sure that you have your loan officer, loan processor, or whomever you designate as your notifying parties listed in your file assignments, and we'll show you how to designate who those notification parties are. The other information that you do need in order to make a submission is going to be an employer name. So I have 2 borrowers on this loan, and I have an employer listed for both borrowers here in the IRLA. Once all that's complete, not very much, once you complete all that, you're going to go to verifications. Do keep in mind that I am in a dev environment, so all of the verification services that you see here is not going to be indicative of what you see in your verification screen. So I'm going to choose my Truv VOIE. And from here, I can toggle back and forth depending on the borrower that I want to order the verification for. You can see that down below here, I have my employer name and it's marked as current, yes. And then I have 2 product types. We have income and employment. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and do an income verification. Also keep in mind that since I am in a dev environment, I do have this import test JSON button that you are not going to be seeing in your environment. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit submit. Give it a few minutes. It's going to come back and give me a status of pending. Once the borrower email has been sent, I can hit this status button and it will say sent as soon as it's sent. So give me just a second. Just waiting for the email to send. Maybe while we do that, we can talk about defaults. In the default section under Truv, you have your secret ID, your API key for production, which is where you would be entering in your API key. And then you have your environments in which you can point to. We also have the ability to auto run the income component as well as the employment component based on status. So here you would just select the status in which you would like the income to be run or the employment to be run. So I did get my email, so my status should be sent now. Let me go ahead and pull up that email. This template, this email template, is actually what Tom is going to be showing you how to set up on the Truv side. So this can be customized based on your branding. So I'm actually acting as the borrower now. I'm going to verify instantly. It's going to bring up my information. You'll put in the borrower's credentials here and then sign in. Takes about just a couple seconds. We're going to get a little success banner there. And then we'll go back to Byte and give it just a second. And now we have a completed income status or an income order. When you get a completed income order, you have the information that's coming from Truv and the information that is in Byte here. So if you want to copy the employer information, you would copy employer details here. This information will flow through to your URLA. And then you can also copy your income information. We do calculations based on frequency that Truv is sending us back. We'll read the pay stubs and based on pay stubs and or frequency, we will do a calculation of what that income would be. So to see what that calculation is, there's 2 different places you can do that. You can do that here by double clicking and you can see how we've calculated this particular income. And then also you can check each box and then copy selected, and it's going to copy the information into your IRLA as well. The other section that you can see the income calculation is at the employment record level for the individual borrower. So if I come in here, you can see that my information is now in my application. If I double click on any of the income, itemized income information, it's going to put that information in the ATR notes. So you don't have to go back to the integration and re-import it or re-double click it. It will automatically be plopped in for you. Getting back to my verifications and my Truv, you can see here that I do have documents that have come in, my pay stubs, my VOE, and the other place you're going to see those is in our stored documents. We're obviously going to auto populate those in for you and label those based on pay stub, W-2, whatever type of income documentation was sent to us. The last thing I do want to talk about is those email templates, kind of in transition over to Tom, unless there's any questions. Those email templates are generated by Truv, and the way those email templates are connected in Byte is in our security manager. We have a new tab here called Organization Settings, and each organization is going to have an organization settings. If I double click, it's going to bring up the organization and it's going to ask you which template do you want to use for the Truv income and which template do you want to use for the Truv employment. When you open this up, this is automatically going out and calling to Truv to retrieve your company's template IDs and template names. So this information will flow through from Truv when you come here.
Don, I'll just jump in real quick. Is that a situation where it allows them to use different templates based on, say, branches that want something maybe different than a different branch?
That is correct. So
Right.
you don't have to have the same template for every organization. Each organization has its own template setting.
Awesome, thanks.
And there are so many good questions coming in. I just want to throw that out there.
Great.
One thing I'll throw out just to preemptively answer this is that, a very common question we get is, what if the borrower has, up to 5 or more workplaces that they've been at in the last couple of years, right? You can prepare verifications for all of those employers, and the borrower can too through the interface.
Correct.
So I just want everybody to know that's commonplace, especially with gig workers these days, and we support gig workers as well as benefits, benefits being received from different, like Social Security or something like that. Tom, do you want to do your part of the demo, and then I want to make sure we answer these questions because there's some really good ones.
Yeah, happy to. I can actually show a VOI report as well. Answer that one. So let me share. All right, we can see my screen.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, perfect. So this is the Truv dashboard. So everyone who has contracts with Truv has access to the Truv dashboard, whether you're integrating a Byte or not. So you will have access to this. This section I'm showing is our template section. As we kind of spoke to before, this is where we do all of our customization. Templates can be used for multiple purposes, whether you have different brands, different branches, et cetera. Any scenario where you want to change the verbiage or potentially even the data coming back, you can create a template for, and those template IDs can be used to map to your specific organization in Byte. So I'll show you what a template looks like. We essentially have every template will have a screen like this where you can come in and customize everything. So we allow for branding. It's always important to have your brand in your customer communications. It's especially important when you're asking a customer to submit credentials for verification. They want to know that it's coming from you. They want to see your name. They want to see your coloring. They want to see your brand. They want to see your language. So you can upload your logo, put in your company name, change the coloring here. There's a few other configurations in here. You can kind of see what it will look like when you make those changes. Out of the box, Truv will send notifications via email and SMS. So we allow you to customize both of those things. So you can see here in the email customization, you have pretty much full control over all the language in this email, including the CTA button. The only thing you don't have control over is this little blurb that we need to have at the end of the email that is powered by Truv to make sure we're covered from a legal perspective. But you can change the prompt, you can change the instructions here, you can change the CTA, you can change the link expiration for how long you want these to stay active for the borrower to complete them. And you can add an email address if you want borrowers to go to a specific spot when they need some help. So this is the first email. There's reminder emails as well. You can change the language. We have some customers, for example, who put a little more urgency in the second and third reminders as opposed to the first one. Similarly with SMS, you can do the same thing. So the SMS is obviously considerably smaller because we want people to just click it and read it, and ideally they know what's coming. So you can make it short and sweet, allow them to opt out, but ultimately have that link in there for them to complete. And Truv is mobile first, so everything we do can be responsive to whatever phone, tablet, etc. Support across all browsers and all devices. Similar thing with the reminder email here. You can also, on the desktop view, we have this landing page like you saw in the demo that Dawn just did. You can customize this language as well. So you can change the header and the body here. You can also hide frequently asked questions if you want. We don't recommend that, but it's available. Similarly with the success screen, you can hide the confetti, but it's really fun. We have, everyone who does, I tell them you should stop doing that because borrowers think it's cool. You can also change the expiration language. So what we're trying to do here is give you power to just make this yours as much as you can, and allow this to drive the results that you want, which is ultimately your borrower to feel comfortable, to convert, and to feel excited about something they did that really helped drive their process forward. So this screen here, we call the Truv bridge, where you saw Dawn actually connect. You can change things about the bridge as well. So we have a document upload section. We treat it as a fallback, where if a person cannot connect for some reason, they can't remember their credentials, their MFA codes going to their wife's phone, whatever the situation is, you can have it default to request documentation in the app. So if they do have their pay stubs and W-2s, you can make it required. You can change how many are required. You can change the language. You can have them upload directly into Truv. We will actually upload the pay stubs and W-2s, also OCR the data and generate a VOA report for you. So you'll get the documents and a VOA report that summarizes the data on those. You can customize the search screen. So you can see here out of the box, we have all of these tabs. We have a popular list that we start with. If you are a lender that has really high concentration of borrowers at certain employers, you can customize this popular list to drive conversion through the traffic. We see really strong results when people do this. So it's highly recommended on any template that you make, especially if you're a regional lender and every other borrower works at Walmart. You want Walmart to be the top of the list here. Make it as easy as possible for them to find it. Make it as easy as possible for them to convert. You can also hide tabs here. So if you don't want gig economy, for example, that's only gig economy. So if you didn't want gig economy, you can remove it from the template. And that way you can drive borrowers to the type of employment that you're looking for. Similar customization on the screen as well. Finally, here at the bottom, you can remove some data points from the Truv report that not everybody is looking for. As you know, in mortgage, folks don't want to see too much data. So if there's things on here you don't want to see, you can remove it. We also have further configuration for that. You can work with a customer success manager to do. And then you can set return documents limit. So by default, Truv will pull back pay stubs and W-2s and end of year pay stubs from the payroll provider system. We typically default that to 3 years of W-2s and year-end pay stubs and 6 most recent pay stubs. You can change that here if you want. So we do have some lenders who similarly are like, I don't want to see anything more than 4 because if this person gets paid bi-weekly, I just push myself into something I don't need. So you can make those adjustments here in the template as well. We also see some people, use different templates for different use cases. So if there's a certain product you're selling that only requires 2 pay stubs and no W-2s, you can come in here and change that as well. That's pretty much it for templates. But as we said before, the idea is just to give you as much flexibility and configuration as possible. Make this yours, make the language yours, make your borrowers feel really good about it, and drive some efficiency on your side where you're getting everything you need and not much more. I did quickly want to show a couple things while we're in here. So we do have this orders section where anything that you create, whether in Byte or outside of it, will actually be in this pipeline view here. So you can see all your orders. This is mine and it's in production, so I don't have a ton here. You can also create new orders, similar process that you saw in Byte, just on our UI. So first name, last name, email, you can put in the employer, etc. When there's an order in here, you can come in and look at it. So you can see all the information that came back in the order in Truv as needed. So you can come in here. This is what our VOA reports look like. So you can see here, we kind of break it down into several sections. There's an identity section, which is about borrower, an employment section about their current or the employment that you verified, employer information, high level income data, and then we get into the annual income summaries. You can see here it's broken down by year, base salary, overtime, commission, et cetera. So we're leveraging GSE rules for all the bucketing and how we put these together. We'll also have all the payroll statements, so all the pay stubs that we downloaded based on what you requested will be here available. We do pull in bank account information. If there's any direct deposit information in the payroll system, it comes back as part of the response. And the W-2s here as well. And then some order information. So pretty easy and summarized, it's probably similar to what you've seen in other vendors, but the idea is to give your teams everything they need in some organized fashion so you can quickly come in here and review. One of the things that differentiates Truv from some of the instant is that we do get the pay stubs and the W-2s. So what we often get as feedback is, this report is great, and if I see anything that I need to go dig into, like there's bonus here and I don't know where it came from, I can go look at the pay stubs directly, which is nice because you can do that and it'll be the same thing on the Byte side of the house. One last thing I'll show is that we do have out-of-the-box reporting as well. As I mentioned, this is my instance, so there's nothing here, but you would have this available to you to come in and look at in real time, which is how many orders have been created over time, what is the conversion rate of those orders over time, orders by status, how things are converting via email or SMS, what does the funnel look like? Normally there's multiple steps here, but I haven't completed any of these, so that's why it doesn't look like that. Some error distribution, and then some benchmark data. So you can actually see how your traffic is converting in certain verticals versus other people within the mortgage cohort, which is really cool to see, and then allows you to kind of understand your users a little better, where are people doing well, not doing well, etc. I'm gonna pause here. I'm sure we have questions, so.
Yeah, we got a lot of really good questions. Some I'm gonna actually have to lean on Byte to help answer, and some
Sure.
we can answer. So
I do have two follow-up things. I wanted to say that VOIE report that Tom was just showing, that it does import back into Byte. And one thing I did forget to mention is those verification IDs or reference numbers for the verification services for Fannie and Freddie automatically populate into those interface screens as well. Those numbers we get from Truv, so we plop those right in for you.
all right, so let's go through questions in the chat first, and then I'll go to the Q&A questions. I've been trying to answer the ones live that I can answer, and there's a couple that I need help that are open for some of the Byte. I think they're mostly for Byte folks. So let's start with the text. Ashley Baird says, if the VOI is set up to run automatically, is the user required to go to the verification screen and click copy, or will it overwrite current information automatically? I think that's a Byte question.
Yep, that's a manual process. So they would have to go hit the status button to get the completed order, and then they could choose whether or not they want to populate right over what they already have.
Cool. Lisa, you asked about what the documentation looks like, the income documentation, right before Tom shared it. So I'm assuming that you saw everything that comes with Tom's shared screen. Absolutely happy to hop on with you and go through all of that. And I'll throw my email right now in the chat. Just guys, if you have any other questions after this and you want to talk, just shoot me an email and I'm happy to send you information and show you exactly what you're going to get. Let's keep going. How can a user know that it came back? Is there any notifications? I think that's pretty important on the Byte side.
There's no email notifications or anything like that. It would be in the status that they would have to go hit the status button to see that if it came back or not.
All right, cool. Let's see. Do we get checking account statements if they get direct deposit? That answer is 100% affirmative for verification of assets. Susan, I'm going to move on here and go through the open questions. Can you customize the send from email address? That's a really good question. I didn't answer that. I think that's a Tom. Can you answer that question? Can they customize the send from email address with Truv? I actually haven't had that question asked to me before.
No, we cannot. Unfortunately, it's been asked. There's a technical limitation that prevents us from doing so, and also kind of makes it a little more risky if we start swapping domains and stuff out. So what essentially we do is you have an email alias that is with your name in it, but then the actual email address has Truv in it. So unfortunately, can't change that.
Does each Byte user have access to use Truv and the UI, or is the UI limited to an admin?
No, each each user would have access to it as long as they can see the integration. They would have access to it.
Awesome. From Danielle.
You may have to give them the object permission.
Yeah, you may have to allow them to see it,
Yeah,
but
right.
I just had to do an audit with the work number, so it was fresh on my mind. Love that, Danielle. Great. And I think you guys should be doing those audits, especially now. Is there a pricing? How much per user or report? I'll just say our starting price starts at $22 of verification, and with volume we come down. So what I'd say is you can reach out to me. And the end here, I'm going to flash up. You can go to Truve and just schedule a demo. It won't take very long with us, and we'll just ask a couple questions and give you a proposal, and you can assess based on that. But 22 gives you the starting point in terms of price point. Verification of assets is less. That starting point is about $12. So let's answer live. There were some questions that I answered already. If anybody's curious what those are, there's some really good questions that are already answered in the, you can see they're already answered in the Q&A. I've got two more questions. Is there any future plans to update that about notifications? Difficult for the user to have to remember to go back into the file and manually hit status. That was a real, Ashley, she's referring to the copy bit that I think you were
Yeah, that I answered before.
Yeah.
I'll let Mark answer that. I'm not sure.
Is this
It
about
looks
a
like
notification?
Notifications when
Yes.
it comes back.
So when it comes back, the user doesn't get notified that the order has been completed, and that's standard pretty much. We don't do notifications for any other of our other integrations, so it's not out of the normal for the user to have to go hit a status button. But I don't know that we have any
But is
plans to make that change.
is there not something from Truve that
We do have, yeah,
provides
sorry, Mark.
notification of completion?
We can provide notifications out of Truve, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so we can set it up in Truve so that you'll get a notification via email, just from Truve saying that it's been completed.
Right on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you have anything you were going to add there, Mark? No?
No, just future we might be able to do something more automated than that, but currently it would be rely on the Truve notification to prompt your user to go in and retrieve the current status. But you shouldn't have to go in. The takeaway would be that you shouldn't have to go in and click randomly every day to see did it happen. You should be able to react to a Truve notification.
Yeah.
That notification is not coming from Byte though.
Yeah, Neil Moore says create pipeline report with status. We 100% show that in the dashboard, the status of all of the reports that have been ordered. Jennifer asks, what's the process for the borrower to register after receiving the email? If that is relating to Truve's process, an email or text that's going out to the borrower, however you have it configured, they're not registering with Truve. They are logging into their payroll provider. I think that's where you're going with that question. So it's very straightforward. It takes a couple seconds. They log in. Okay, cool. They log into their payroll provider, off to the races. We pull the W-2s and pay stubs. And with VOIE, there's nothing else for them to do. I had a good friend from my childhood who called me up and said he thought I used my service. And I was like, how was it? And he was like, I don't know. It took me like 1 or 2 seconds. And I was like, perfect. That's exactly what the experience is supposed to be like. So it's very quick for the borrower. When the income, wait, hold on. I missed one. Yeah, when you went through the buyer registration process quickly, what is their registration process for the first time? I think that's the same question.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. So they're just logging into their payroll provider, everybody. When the income is calculated, does it take into account year-to-date income?
It really depends on the type of frequency. So for things like overtime and bonus, I think that we do. I don't know the calculations, all of them off the top of my head, but it really just depends on frequency and other factors, whether or not we use year to date.
And I got another question here from Kevin. If a small employer is not available on your platform, what happens? And if nothing, do we get charged? If we don't, so let me just throw this out there, everybody. If you don't get a successful return of verification, we're not charging you. That's how it works. We also don't charge for co-borrowers. So if you have like a spouse on the application, we're not charging for the spouse also. We get one charge per file and only when it's successfully returned. You also don't get charged for re-verifications 10 days before close. It's also important to note that the login credentials most of the time are persistent, but it is dependent on the payroll provider. Meaning, if I'm the borrower, I log into my payroll provider and the documents are pulled, Most of the time, I won't have to actually log in again 10 days before close. Those credentials are persistent. Does that make sense? So this is actually much easier for the borrower. Let's see here. Oh, and I should also add to Kevin's question, we have a fallback if you turn it on for doc upload. So if for some reason it doesn't work, that they're not able to connect to their payroll provider, maybe the borrower doesn't want to. We have a doc upload feature that you can use as well. And then we have from Latoya, our borrower authorizations needed to be signed before pulling the verifications. No, the borrower is giving explicit permission for this to happen. They are doing it, it's consumer permissioned. So they are giving their explicit consent for you to pull, for Truv to pull those documents from their payroll provider. That's what makes all of this work, actually. Well, what is the process for a verbal verification of employment just prior to closing? $0 charge? Verbal, yeah, I think Shannon, that's the same question. We're not charging you for that. We didn't play any part of that process. If the employer is using the work number for VOEs, how does that work with Truv? Liz, that's a really good question. So people are used to the work number telling a lot of big employers out there that they have to use the work number and they don't want to get calls for verifications. Truv is actually has nothing. Truv bypasses all of that. The borrower is logging into their payroll provider, so that is completely unaffects our ability to convert a successful conversion. Can the income calculation be overridden if underwriter disagrees?
100%. Yep.
100%. Yep.
Yep.
Do you have anything for post-closing QC re-verifications? That is a really good question. I've had a couple people reach out to us about that. A couple providers that do it for lenders, kind of they spot check them. Tracy, why don't you talk to me about that? If you're interested, let's have a conversation about that because we're working with one of them. There's a couple of big providers that do that en masse. I think on behalf of like Fannie and Freddie, they do it en masse, or on behalf of the lenders. But I need to learn a little bit more about the use case. 100% it should be possible, but there are complications if, for example, this is not if it's like broker and this is not a client that you've worked with before and you might not have some like email or something like that. But why don't we just talk about it? Richard@truv.com. Susan Adams, one charge per verification or one charge per file? One charge per file. One charge per file. I hope that's very clear here. One charge per file, not for co-borrowers. I'm trying to make sure everybody understands that. There's no re-verification charges. We are the best value on the top of the waterfall. That's how Truv is positioned in the market. Commonwealth, Tenna. I didn't get Kevin. I'm sorry. I need a little bit more on that one. I'm trying to divine that one. If you guys have any input.
No, I got nothing for you there. Sorry.
All right, let me go to the question that's open. The comment on one charge per file. Suppose the file starts in a borrower portal, like a lead, so really top of the funnel. Then later the file transfers to the LOS. How do you know it is the same file to keep the one charge per file? Tom, you want to answer that?
Sure, just gotta get off mute. So we actually have a few different ways of doing that. So we will, if you're sending us the same identifier both times, we'll know for sure and we won't charge. And then we have kind of matching logic on our side. So essentially use like first name, last name, and if SSN is being sent to match against the request. And we can see different payroll connections come through as well. And then, essentially we're trying to do this waterfall to make sure that the matching is correct. So typically we have no issue with it, but, happy to work with you, your customer success manager on my team will go through and make sure everything is flowing and we're doing that matching logic correctly between Byte and whatever other system you may be using.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that order number we store and send to you guys, so it should be consistent once the order is placed the first time.
And then Malcolm is driving home the point, no charge for multiple employers, past and present. Yes, correct. Cool. Okay, one more here in the chat. A small company that doesn't use a payroll system would be an exception for this. Or if they use a CPA for payroll. CPA for payroll. Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's a lot of small companies, small businesses out there that do this. We offer typically doc upload is the answer there. Tom, you have any color you want to add? Small
Sorry, I missed.
small company that doesn't use a payroll system would be an exception for this, or if they use a
Yeah.
CPA or payroll.
Yeah, essentially what we'd be looking for is the doc upload at that point. There's no way for us to integrate with them, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. I think we are tiring everybody out with answering their questions. Guys, I hope everybody really enjoyed this and got a lot out of it. We would love to talk to you more about it and your business. Let me just share my screen real quick. I've got contact information up here for both Byte and for Truv, and we're happy to do joint demos. I'll throw it out on your behalf, Bobby. I figure you're fine with
For
hopping on
sure.
and doing joint demo, so you can request with each of us. You're going to need to talk to Truv if you want to get a proposal and a price quote. So, that's right there. You can reach out to me. You can go to the website and submit a demo. Use the QR code, whatever you want to do. We're here for you. So, let's talk about your business and see if we can work together. We're really excited about this implementation. Well, I think the one question that nobody asked that I think we should just talk about is how long do you think it takes for people to get off to the races here if they decide they want to get going?
I'll ask for you, Richard. Hey, how long does it take for someone to get going with Truv if they're interested?
Well, Don, I'm going to put that one on you. I think I've been answering too many questions. Somebody can hear someone else's voice.
Well, within the Byte platform itself, it's simple as unhiding the integration so your users can see it and filling out your defaults. And then in Truv, I guess you would want to fill out your dashboards and get all that squared away for your templates. So what do you think?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Posterity, isn't this the next release, or is this currently?
This is in the next
Yeah, it
release,
is.
yes.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Mhm.
Do you know what date that is roughly that people can earmark?
The good things come to those who wait. We
I
sell
like
no
it.
wine before it's time. Next couple of weeks, I would guess.
Cool.
Next few days to next couple of weeks.
Is there a sign up fee with Truv or with Byte? I'm going to assume that's with that question is with Truv. There is a platform fee. It's not a sign up fee. But why don't you talk to us about the proposal? Like your proposal is going to be unique to your business. In terms of like a sign up fee, no, there's not a sign up fee. We don't have like a sign up fee or anything like that. I booked a demo. Yay, Malcolm! Would I be able to sign up after that? Sure. Talk to your account executive when you get on the call and tell them about your business. Tell them we'll work on putting together a proposal for you with Truv. Cool. Cool. We're in the business of reducing your costs and increasing your conversions for verifications, everybody. So come talk to us. I want to say thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, especially Don. You guys really crushed it. And thank you for being such good partners at Byte.
Yeah, and I want to say thanks too for all the Byte clients that joined today. I know you guys took time out of your day, so thanks for coming on. I hope this was useful for you guys. You know how to reach us if you have any questions. And if any of you are not Byte clients and you're interested in learning more about the Byte platform, please feel free to reach out to us. Scan the code, go to bytesoftware.com. We'd love to earn your business. So yeah, thanks for everybody coming on.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
See you guys.
See you guys.